Hi sophomores, this is Dr. Bradley with the tail end of my presentation on British colonial religion. So in the end of my last segment I was talking about the beliefs of the Puritans, and you'll see that they had this puzzling belief in predestination, which theoretically said that no matter what you did on earth it would not affect your destiny. But in fact, the Puritans believed that while you couldn't change your destiny could be revealed by your behavior on earth, and hence they actually had a huge emphasis on proper behavior and virtuous behavior because they wanted to show or find out that they were headed for heaven and not hell. Unfortunately, there was a crisis of religious faith in New England starting in the 1640s. As opposed to the Pilgrims and Puritans who came over as first-generation immigrants, fewer members of the younger generation were feeling the zeal of their parents. And fewer of them in adolescence were having the conversion experiences which were required for church membership. And as a result, the church population was dropping. And you'll remember from class that only visible saints or the elect or members of the church were allowed to participate either in church as full members or even in the governing of the colonies. So this presented a real crisis for Massachusetts in particular. The result was the emergence of the Jeremiads, so Puritan preachers who preached these fire and brimstone, moaning, worrying sermons that went on forever and ever, trying to basically frighten people into a new zeal for the church. And when that didn't work very well, in the 1660s, something called the Halfway Covenant, a covenant is a contract, the Halfway Covenant was created in Massachusetts, which opened the churches to the non-elect, i.e. people who had not had a conversion experience and weren't officially members of the church. Ultimately, this led to the Great Awakening of the 1730s and 1740s, which was a revivalist phenomenon that gave rise to a whole slew of new Protestant denominations. So the Great Awakening was a very interesting, enthusiastic revival of religion that was characterized by the opposite of Jeremiads, but rather positive, charismatic preaching by preachers such as Jonathan Edwards and George Whitefield, and also proselytizing, which means trying to convert people. Two denominations in particular were strengthened by the First Great Awakening, the Baptist Church and the Methodist Church. There were still old-style Protestants, and so we use the term Old Lights and New Lights to differentiate the old Protestant denominations that wanted to stay pure in the Puritan way from the new ones that were focused more on a policy of attraction rather than a policy of fear. So the Old Lights were the Anglicans, the Congregationalists, the descendants of Puritans, and the new were Baptists and Methodists, who were also Protestants, but didn't have so much of a fear-based religion built in. So that's it for now, and this will help us to understand the Salem witchcraft trials of 1692, but also just the worldview of Protestants in the New World about the role of God in their lives. Thanks.